Welcome back to Short Times. Today I'm going to walk you through the film Groundhog Day from 1993, directed by Harold Ramis. So, here we go. Film begins with February 1. Pittsburgh television weatherman Phil promises his viewers that a looming blizzard will pass over western Pennsylvania. Phil travels to Punxsutawney with his producer Rita Hansen and cameraman Larry for his annual coverage of the Groundhog Day festivities. He makes no secret of his dislike for the assignment, the little town, and the hicks who reside there, claiming that he will soon be leaving for a new job. On February 2nd, Phil gently opens his eyes in the Cherry Tree Inn as I Got You Babe by Sonny and Cher plays over the radio. Later, he presents a half-hearted report on Punxsutawney Phil and the celebrations. In the meantime, in opposition to his forecast, a snowstorm hits the region, preventing any passage out of Punxsutawney. Despite Phil's furious attempts to find a way out, he and his team are compelled to spend the night in the town. The following morning, however, Phil discovers that it is February 2 once more, and his day continues nearly exactly as before. Unless Phil does something different, other people continue to act and speak in the same way they did and said the day before. While everyone else appears to be experiencing February 2 for the first time, he is aware of the repetition. The morning after that, and the morning after that, and over again, this recursion occurs. Every morning at 6 in the morning, when Phil awakens in his room at a Victorian bed and breakfast, Groundhog Day officially begins for him. The same Sonny and Cher song, I Got You Babe, plays on his clock radio nonstop. Phil takes advantage of understanding the day's events and the information he is able to gather about the townspeople, after briefly trying to rationalize his condition and then thinking he is insane, and discovers that his actions have no long-term implications for himself. He revels in this scenario for a time, seducing attractive women, stealing the money, even driving intoxicated and experiencing a police chase. However, his attempts to seduce his producer, Rita, are greeted with repeated failures. After some days, he grows to bore with, and then dread, his life, beginning the day by shattering the alarm clock and shouting in his newscast the absurdity of Groundhog Day as a holiday. Following that, he kidnaps Phil the groundhog in an attempt to interrupt the cycle. Following a police chase, Phil crashes a stolen vehicle into a quarry, killing both man and mouse in a massive explosion. Yet the loop continues. He commits suicide numerous times more. He nearly kills himself, allows a truck to strike him on the road, and jumps from a height building, among other tries. Yet death cannot stop the day from repeating itself. After he dies, he merely wakes up in the same bed, on the same day, over and over again, listening to Sonny and Cher. After that, he tries to seduce Rita at first by learning as much as he can on a daily basis. First, he inquires as to what she desires in a man: someone humble, kind, generous, courageous, and sensitive, someone who enjoys children, someone who loves his mother and plays a musical instrument. He discovers what she likes: Rocky Road ice cream, sweet vermouth, French poetry, and dislikes white chocolate, and pretends to share her preferences. This also continually fails. Rita slaps him before the night is done, scene after scene, but he manages to make a more genuine friend of hers. Later, he explains to her his situation, describing how he keeps repeating the same day, and is able to persuade her of the truth through his in-depth understanding of future events, the lives of Punxsutawney town residents, and Rita herself. He opens up to Rita, and her advice eventually enables him to discover a purpose for his trapped life. As a benefactor to others, he cannot expect others to meet all of his requirements in a single day, but he may improve himself by always learning new things. After witnessing an elderly homeless man die, Phil swears that nobody would die on his day and goes above and above every single day, performing the Heimlich technique on a guy who is choking and saving a young kid who falls from a tree, among many other heroic deeds. Later, he tries to get the homeless man medical attention, but he loses hope because he can't help him. Later, a nurse tells him that sometimes people just die when he requests to examine the man's medical chart. Phil replies, not today, but he never manages to prevent it. Although the number of repetitions is not mentioned in the movie, Phil has enough time to pick up a variety of smart abilities, including jazz piano, speak French, ice sculpture, and memorizing practically everyone in town's life story. Additionally, he has mastered the skill of tossing playing cards into an upside-down hat, which he casually claims takes 6 months. Eventually, Phil, in a sense, sees his own shadow and transforms from an insensitive, heartless selfish to a thoughtful, kind-hearted philanthropist, refining his grasp of human decency and, as a result, becoming an appreciated and beloved man in town. Phil is able to make friends with practically everyone he meets during the day, and he uses his experiences to save lives and help the people of the town. Meanwhile, he becomes closer to Rita as a result of this. He creates such an impressive report on the Groundhog Day celebration that all of the other stations turn their microphones to him. After the big Groundhog Day evening dance, Phil carves an ice sculpture in Rita's image and tells her that no matter what happens, even if he is doomed to continue walking alone each morning forever, he wants her to know that he is finally happy because he loves her. They share a kiss and retire to Phil's room. Phil wakes the next morning to "I got you, babe," but finds Rita is still in bed with him, and the radio banter has changed. It is now February 3. Phil is not the same person he was on February 1st, and after walking outside, Phil and Rita discuss living in Punxsutawney together. Later, the movie eventually comes to an end.